The sixth episode of Marvel's What If is officially with us. And of course, without spoilers, I'm just going to go into what I thought about this episode and the general direction it takes us in, with some interesting twists and turns, and of course, characters. So let's get to that. So I did notice that last week's episode was one that was divisive among fans again. Specifically when it comes to what Marvel Studios did with the episode, as opposed to some of the ones leading up to it because of, just the story that they told, I guess, last week. It was a little bit more bare bone and sort of just like, oh, it's zombies. Okay, well, it's a zombie story. I guess that's sort of what you got. That's what you wanted. Some people naturally wanted more, and of course, a tease at the end was obviously a pretty big cliffhanger that we gotta wait to see resolved. Now, in this week's episode, I think we're in for another one. Another episode that's going to have people on both sides of it. I think most people will, again, be on the more positive side, but it's going to be a little bit till we see how that plays out. Without spoiling things, there's definitely some interesting twists and turns to what we know, and this week specifically dealing with Eric Killmonger and his character. And I think one thing that's going to be brought up is exactly how this character is different, yet draws some comparisons and parallels to what the character was like in Black Panther. And I think this episode, more so than any, at least up until this point, in my opinion, takes one of the more safer approaches, and again, I don't want to spoil it, and then completely goes in a different direction and into how the MCU evolves from that point. It's a little bit more, I would say, intuitive than what we got with the Captain Carter episode, but it's also not as outlandish as the Zombies episode, or even, let's say, the Doctor Strange episode, where that really went in some crazy direction there at the end. So this is sort of going to be in the middle, balancing both acts of it, for better or for worse. And I think that's why this episode is going to be one of the ones where people are discussing it, and some people are really going to love it, other people not so much. I don't think there's going to be just outright hatred for this one. I definitely don't see that happening, because we haven't really seen that anywhere. And I would say the Captain Carter episode comes the closest to that because of just how it was in general compared to everything else. But overall, I really enjoyed this episode. I love the ending. I love what they're setting up. I love the direction they're going to be going in. There's definitely some implications of, the bigger multiverse concepts here at play as well. So, soon enough, we're in the final stretch. So let's see what happens here and how do they tie all this together. And of course, if you guys would like to see everything we have to say about this episode in our audio commentary, that will be up later today. And of course, if you just become a member of any tier, you can get the first episode of What If, that audio commentary, including the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, and WandaVision from this year all included. So check out what we offer for members by hitting that join button.